everyone, hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Amethyst6, and I've not posted a video on for about 10 days, I think it is. The reason why I'm doing this one today is because the energies on the planet are just really intense, off the Richter scale, I'd say, at this point. And my guides, my inner self, my guides have asked me to speak about Ascension symptoms, because I think a lot of people are struggling at the minute, and I think it's helpful to listen to somebody that's actually going through it and gives you kind of an indication of what's happening on the planet at the minute. I have to say, in terms of Ascension, so there's two things I want to say. The first thing is that I don't particularly resonate with the word Ascension. I think it can be quite misleading. When we say Ascension, it kind of, the mind goes into maybe imagining something that's going up in a scale. The chakras go up in a scale, as you know, if you've ever seen a picture of the chakras, obviously they go up. Our bodies go up, as in from the feet up to the head. So naturally people will say Ascension is something that is ascending, because that's what the word means. I actually don't try not to focus on that too much, because I think when we do that, we measure against what other people are going through. So if somebody comes to me and says, oh, I'm very ascended, such as an ascended master, which, by the way, they didn't give themselves that title, humans did. They don't see themselves as ascended in terms of any better than somebody else. They're just masterful in that they've incarnated on the planet and a lot of other planets a lot of times, and that basically means that they have a lot of wisdom. So to me, that's what an ascended master means. Very wise. And we are also very wise, because if we weren't, we wouldn't be here. I think I heard something or read something about God doesn't make rubbish. Now, whatever your term of God is, and again, I'm not going to go into that because that's a whole set of videos by itself. If you think of God doesn't make rubbish, we are not rubbish. We are very highly evolved masters who have come into a physical vessel. Now, because we've come into a physical vessel, that comes with a whole lot of other set of challenges, let's put it that way, that we have to overcome. So for me, I prefer to think of the process that we're going through as a descension process, because that's basically, I'm trying to fit all of my wisdom, knowledge, and which goes on for infinity through all universes, into this physical vessel. Now, your mind and your inner spirit and your soul, and whatever you want to call it, will take that on board. However, your body is screaming, saying, what is going on here? I've been to the doctor says there's nothing wrong with me, however, I still have these symptoms. Now, I do want to say, and I've done this myself, if you are unsure about your symptoms, please just don't automatically put it down to the process that we're going through, because it may not necessarily be that, or it could be that, but you need some medical assistance. And I am certainly not against medical advice. I use more holistic ways of treating myself, but I have been to the doctor over the years a few times and said, this is happening, that's happening, I'm not sure what it is, do you have any insight into this? Usually it's no, because the medical community are just working very linear from books. But if it's something that you are worried about and you need help with, go and see a professional. whether that's a doctor, whether it's an optician, because people are having eye problems. I'm going to go through the list, and I have to tell you that everything on this list, it isn't exhaustive, but I've experienced every single thing that's on there over the years. Not all at once, because that would be really, really intense, but I have experienced them all. Now, in terms of what's happening with our bodies, if you want to ask your team to turn things down a little bit, they can, in a certain way, make it a little bit less intense, if you will, but they won't take it away, because your body is in control of it, and your body is saying, this is what I need to do to release this, or integrate that, or even just sustain us while we are actually on the planet at the time. Okay, it's a little bit difficult to go into all of the different timelines, the different things that everybody's experiencing, so I've just chosen from my perspective, from me, what I have experienced, or am indeed experiencing, because I've got a couple of symptoms today. When the energies are really, really high, I normally get a couple of key ones that show me through my body that this is what's happening at this time. For a long, long time, I'd say about 5 years I was moaning about it, if I'm honest. Why is my body doing this? I need to go to work. I haven't got any energy. What's going on? Why is it lasting so long? And that went on and on and on. And then over the last 6 months, I've kind of come to terms with it, because we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know how intense the symptoms are going to get. So if you can accept it and try and be okay with it, that will help you. Speak to your mind, because your mind is the linear thing. Your mind is the one that says, what is this? I need to identify it. How am I going to fix it and find a solution to it? And as I've just said, sometimes there isn't one. Sometimes you just have to go through it. So I haven't got any contact lenses in today, because for 2 days a week out of the 7, I don't have great eyesight, but for 2 days a week out of the 7, on my days off, I try not to have anything in my eye. But I'm very vain, and I don't like wearing my reading glasses. So there you go. That's an ego thing. I'm fine with it, but I do need to put them on just to read the list. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll make a start on the first one. There you go. Which is, we'll talk about the eyes, seeing as I've got my glasses on. We'll talk about the eyes. So, you can have blurred vision, you can have spots in front of your eyes, you may sometimes see a little colour or image coming into the peripheral vision of your eye. If that happens, that is part of the ascension process, and as we're going into 5D, we are changing our sight, changing the way our eyes work. There's quite a lot going on with the eyes. They can become itchy, red, sore. There's quite a few things that can happen with them. I have poor eyesight anyway, because when I was little I got measles in my eyes, and I've always, from about the age of 6 or 7, not had good eyesight anyway. But I do, and I also have a rare eye condition called iritis, which I won't go into. It's quite painful. So I tend to watch my eyes really carefully because of that, and I have regular checks at the optician. I have reading glasses, I have contact lenses, and I make sure that my eyes are checked. Okay, so if you do have any problems with your eyes and you're thinking this is a bit weird and I'm not really sure what this is, please go and get them checked out by an optician. It doesn't, I'm pretty sure it doesn't cost anything, or if it's an eye test, I'm not sure how much that is, but I'm pretty sure that it will be worth the money just for peace of mind about your eyes. Okay, so that's the first thing. The little woo-woo things about the eyes, and this has happened to me twice in the last 12 months, I'd say. My eyes actually changed colour. They didn't change as in, they're still kind of a bluey, greeny grey colour, if you can see. But they actually went very green on one day, to the point where people were saying, what's the matter with your eyes? They noticed there was something different about it. And then one of the days they went very, very grey, like a very pale grey colour. And again, that was part of something else that I was going through, that people noticed that was happening with my eyes, which I think is pretty cool, really. But, you know, that's just, some people aren't freaking out about it, really. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is... yes, the red spots and the rash. So your skin, I'm sure as most people know, is the biggest organ on your body, and it's an amazing piece of kit because it's waterproof. It's you know, holds everything together. It keeps going every day, and it's, you know, pretty amazing what it does with the pores and the absorbing everything. However, and this has been for as long as I can remember, so I can't even take you back to when it first happened, but when certain energies are very high, I get very itchy skin, and it's pretty annoying, if I'm honest. I get an itchy scalp, so I can't wear hats that are made of anything that is synthetic, because it will drive my scalp crazy. My hair's alright and shampoo's alright to use, but I can't wear anything on top of my head. And I get like little tiny red itchy spots, and they appear on my shins. It's always on the front of my shins and in between my where my breastbone is, just where the higher heart sits. I get it there as well. And those are the two areas where I get that rash. When I get that rash, that's kind of a general indication to me that the energies are quite high and that something's happening with my body. I'm okay with it. To treat it, I use lavender oil. And as anybody that uses aromatherapy oils, you will know that for lavender and chamomile, you can put them on, for lavender, sorry, you can put it on neatly, so you don't need to mix it with a carrier oil. And I also use chamomile, especially at night time if it's really itchy, because I want to sleep and sometimes it wakes me up. I'm not sure about the chamomile, whether it needs to be mixed with a carrier oil. If you're not sure, then just mix it with an oil anyway, so you can use any kind of carrier oil. When you buy the oils, they will tell you what you need to use. I'm kind of a bit of a maverick when it comes to using holistic stuff. I try to find my own way of using it, not necessarily sticking to what they say, but definitely using oil to mix it with, because it can damage the skin if you put it on undiluted, and it's quite strong. Yes, I can do videos on aromatherapy oils, on colours, on numbers, everything that I've learned over the years about how to deal with these symptoms. Everything helps. Okay, so that's the skin that I've addressed there. Right, the next one is... oh, right, okay. I'm going to link these three together because I don't want this video to last forever, but obviously there's a lot going on. Vertigo. Vertigo is rampant on the planet at the minute. It's the dizziness, the nausea, the headaches. They are all linked to the brain, obviously, and what's going on here in the head and the upper chakras. I'm digressing slightly, but I will tell you this story, and this isn't to frighten anybody because this is my journey. Just remember, everything that I'm saying to you is about what's happening with me And it could be similar to you, you could have something completely different, but just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Last January, I had a phantom death. When I came onto this planet, I was very, very nervous about being here, and I'd come in on a backup plan, which means that my parents weren't the original ones that I chose. I won't go into that now because it just takes quite a lot of time up. I've written a book, which is just being I'm proofreading it at the minute. A lot of spiritual people who work in this field do everything themselves, so we haven't got PAs or kind of people to help out. So to get the information out there, we do it all ourselves. So I have to proofread the book before it goes out, because I don't want there to be any spelling mistakes in there or anything. So it should be out, I'm going to put it on Amazon, and it should be out probably March time. If anybody, once it's out there, obviously I'll let everybody know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the dizziness, the headache. So I had a phantom death, and I'd planned to leave some exit points along the way through my lifetime, because I didn't feel like I could cope with everything. So I chose to stay, actually. It was pretty close call, and I had to ring for an ambulance and everything, but I chose to stay. In that one, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was thrown. I just had a virus as well, so I was very weak to begin with. And I rolled onto the floor, and the room was constantly spinning as if I was really drunk, not had any alcohol, violently sick, and then that lasted for about 3 weeks, on and off, the dizziness, and the doctor put it down to vertigo. That was my phantom death and my really high-end experience of trying to integrate these energies into the body that I've got now. This January, a couple of weeks, well, probably last week, I got vertigo again, but it was much less pronounced, only a little bit of it, and I had a bit of nausea, but nothing, absolutely nothing compared to last year. I was at work the other day, which would have been Saturday, and I had a major headache. Now, I don't get headaches. There's two things I don't get. I don't get headaches very often, and I don't get colds very often, nearly not at all. But on Saturday afternoon, I had the mother of all headaches. Now, to me, that would have been a big deal. Anybody that's got migraines, I really, really do empathise, because I don't think I could cope with the pain of it. But this seemed very, very high-end energy one, because it was kind of sitting at the front. Nothing stressful at work, nothing going on that could have brought that on, and it was just pounding in my head. Lasted for a couple of hours and then just went like that. I didn't take anything because I knew what it was. I find if you speak to your body and you kind of reconcile yourself with it and say, listen, this is what's happening, I'm here to support you. Obviously, as your inner being, you are integrated as all as one, but sometimes you need to just speak to yourselves and say, this is what's happening, I'm aware of it, you're going through it, let's just breathe through it together. And breathing's really important, because that kind of calms everything down. So that's the headaches, dizziness, sickness, can be classed as vertigo, but again, go to your doctor. Obviously, I had to ring for an ambulance. You have to do what you have to do. Okay, so that's that one. Oh, and one more thing. The top of the head, I think it's about 3 times I've had that, where the top of the head is very, very sore. And it's where you would kind of class where the crown chakra is. That's kind of where it is. And it's sore to the point where I feel like somebody's hit me over the head with something. I haven't banged my head, nothing's happened, but it's very, very sore to touch, and it's all around that area. So again, that is part of the ascension process as well. Now, obviously, I'm using the word ascension because if I keep saying descension or ascension, but it's the same thing, really. Okay, Right, so yes, right, so with me, I get really sore cuticles on all, probably nearly all of my fingers. I get really sore, what they call snags or tags. They become inflamed and they become sore. And that usually lasts 2 or 3 days, and then it goes. Now I put, sorry, I'm going to say these because they look like they're really shiny. I put coconut oil on mine. I use coconut oil for virtually everything. I use the organically sourced one, so it's not affecting the planet. You have to, I think you have to pay a little bit more for that, but obviously it's peace of mind for me. And I use it as moisturiser, I use it as a hair conditioner, I use it for my cuticles, I use it as, you know, virtually everything. I eat it, I put it in coffee. Coconut oil at the minute is a big help to your body, and it will sustain it. And anybody that's conscious of not using chemicals and things, that's the way to go, I feel. And I've been using it for about 4 or 5 years now. And it really is my go-to thing that I need, you know, for lots of different things, really. So that's the cuticles. It could be your toes, it could be your toenails, anything to do with nails and cuticles. I find that they definitely become inflamed. This will talk about weight, which I'll do in a minute. Right, tingling on the body. So you may find that your body starts to tingle. It could be, sometimes I get a tingle at this side of the head, just in this area. Sometimes I get a tingle on this side of the head. Sometimes I get a full body one, where my whole body is tingling. That's your cells integrating the crystalline particles. Our bodies are moving from carbon-based to crystalline based, and if you think that every single cell in your body has to do that, then at certain points your body will start to vibrate, excuse me, and if you're aware of it, so it's tingly, so sometimes I'll get maybe what you would class as pins and needles in my hands. And what's the difference? Well, you can't always tell, but if you really wouldn't get pins and needles through your whole body. So if you get in that, or just in parts of your head, there's something in that area, your cells or your DNA, something's triggering it. And ask, if you're not sure, just ask. You can ask your guides, you can ask your inner being. Just say, this is happening, please can you bring information into my awareness to show me what's happening with it. And you will get that information. It could be from a book, it could be something that somebody says on the TV if you watch TV, it could be your friend rings you up and says, do you know something really weird, I've been all tingly and I looked it up and it's this and this. You will be given that information. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to try to read this now. Oh yeah, so weight. So I get a lot of questions about weight and why this is happening and why that's happening and why can't I lose weight? Why am I putting weight on when I'm eating next to nothing? Why am I eating for England and I'm not putting any weight on? I have to tell you, I haven't weighed, I could not tell you how much I weigh. And I also couldn't tell you, obviously I know what clothes size I am because I buy clothes and I buy it in a certain size. When you get to a certain point on this journey, and again it's not really a journey, but when we're in 3D we have to use the English language, and it isn't always the best because we don't sometimes have the words, but I'm going to say journey for this purpose. When we get to a certain stage of this journey, we don't care. We don't care how much we weigh. We don't care what... I'm not saying we don't care what we look like. Clearly I've got lippy on today and I've made an effort, and that's just me as a person. But if I need to wear baggy clothes because my tummy is swollen so I look like 7 months pregnant, then I will. And that's actually happened this morning. My belly is just huge today. I'm slimish, but I do look like I'm pregnant. And when that happens, your body is integrating a lot of light into your system, and your digestive system and your tummy will bloat up. You can help that by drinking water. You should be drinking lots of water anyway, but I'll go into that in a little bit. But just accept, normally within a few hours it goes down, or within a day it will go. And I just let it be, basically, because that's what's happening. Walking around pulling your tummy in all day and saying, I really don't understand what's happening here, why is my belly doing that? Then your body goes into fear mode. So you need to speak to yourself and say, listen, I know what's happening, this is happening, and it will just go by itself. If you are eating a lot, just go with what your body wants. A lot of this 5 a day and you need to eat this, this and this, it doesn't work. It's very 3D and it isn't working. And if you are constantly going against what your body is asking for, then this process takes a lot longer and it's a lot more uncomfortable. So if your body is spending a day asking for peanut butter and carbohydrates, which obviously peanut butter is one, but on bread or whatever, your body's basically saying, I need a lot of fuel because this is what's happening to me now and I need the energy. If you're on what we would call a live day, where you wake up and all you want to eat is fruit and vegetables and you can't stand to eat any carbohydrates, your body is then integrating that light and doesn't need the energy to do that. It just basically needs to sustain you throughout the day. If you're not eating anything at all because your appetite's completely gone, then just drink the water. Drink the water. It's absolutely fine, because we have to get used to this peaks and troughs, and your body is trying to negotiate between the DNA, the cells, and everything else that's going on inside. If you're very health conscious, then you're going to have to decide what is the least harmful thing that you feel that you can comfortably get away with. I personally am vegan, so there's only certain chocolate I can have, there's only certain foods that I choose to eat, but I will eat those, and I don't feel that I need to kind of censor what I'm eating. So I hope I've covered that. I think there's going to be another video about this. I'm not really sure. My guides are kind of sending me all over the place at the minute, but if we need to talk more about food, then I will do that. Right, next one is talk about the weights, right, okay, so the flu-like symptoms, which is the coughs, colds. I've heard of 3 friends and a family member who's had pneumonia over Christmas holidays. And again, that's all about integrating the energy into the system. We use, if you think about the words that we use to describe everyday things that are happening in our life, it will give you a general clue as to what is happening in your body. So if you have a chest ailment, sometimes that can mean you need to get something off your chest. So link it to something that is, it could be emotional. It could be that you've had a row with somebody and you're not sure how to, get back to a state of balance with it all. There's lots of different things going on. So if you are, look at where it is on your body, and then usually it comes from an emotional place. So it will help you if you can pinpoint that and get it off your chest. So that starts to heal, the process will heal faster. Okay, so coughs, colds, pneumonia, anything to do with the lungs is all about, obviously it's the breathing, but it's all about integrating into the higher heart, which is this area from here where the breastbone is, down to just above your solar plexus. So that would be what that is. And again, it's an integration process and you just have to go through it, okay? Okay. Yeah, any kind of pain in the body. So knee pain, I get knee pain. There are chakras in the knees, and also the knees support us, as in they're one of the things that are near to our feet. So when we're standing, when we're sitting, when we're running, when we're moving, the knees are constantly moving around unless you're actually laid down or sat down. Knee pain is usually about having the courage to go forward, because when you walk, you usually walk forward. If you're having knee pain, that could be an indication that you're kind of a bit stuck where you are. Again, look at your life, what's happening in there, where you're going, what you're doing. Do you feel like you're going backwards? Sorry, I've just set the alarm. I need to take that off. Are you going backwards? Is there some kind of situation where you need to look at moving forward? You may find that your knee pain kind of stops, or at least becomes less painful. Okay, so that's the knees. How many more have I got? Right, oh, okay, we've only got a couple more, which is brilliant. Right, so ears. I'm auditory. I'm also clairsentient, clairvoyant. Everybody's everything. We're all empaths. Everybody's everything. Everybody's got the gifts, and people just aren't using them. But I'm more auditory. I choose that. I choose to be auditory. So I have constant ringing in the ears, pulsing. You get a pulsing noise. I might get one ear blocked off, so suddenly that goes dead. That carries on with the noise. Then I know that it's the right side of the brain or the left side of the brain. I might be getting a message on this side. Doesn't bother me at all. I've had this for a long time. I think the medical term for it is tinnitus or something. It's not tinnitus for me, because it's, although the ringing is there, it's very, very, very faint, and I can only really hear it if it's absolutely silent. I just integrate it. It's just the way that it works for me. But again, if you're having problems with your ears and you're not sure what that is, then go to your doctor and get it sorted. Heart palpitations. I've had my heart pounding that much that it's actually nearly come through my chest. It felt like it was coming through my chest. Again, I've had this for years, on and off. I know how to manage it. I just breathe through it. I calm my body down. I tell it what's happening, and usually they go. It can be a bit scary if you're having it and you're not sure. And again, go to your doctor, get it checked out. I went 3 times in the beginning, about 12 to 15 years ago. I went 3 times and they could find absolutely nothing. And I had, it was probably about 2 weeks ago, I had heart palpitations nearly coming through my chest. So I know that it's, you know, part of the process. And the last one is digestive problems. So that's nausea, sickness, well, nausea is sickness, diarrhea, a lot of wind, gassy kind of gurgling thing going on. I usually get that at the peak of the energy, when it's really, really high. I will get that for about a day or 2 days. Got to stay near the bathroom, if I'm honest. I don't like to really go very far, because I will need the loo. You might be, you know, passing urine a lot more. And again, just be aware that it is part of the process. All of those things I am now experiencing or have experienced. There were probably others that I've forgotten about, but if anybody wants to post anything about their symptoms underneath in the comments, that's absolutely fine. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that it's made things a little bit clearer for you. Oh, right, I'm just getting one more. The jaw pain, jaw and teeth. Again, the crystalline process gets into the jaw and the teeth, mainly the gums and the jaw. So people will be experiencing a lot going on in the mouth. Go and see your dentist if you need to. I kind of just go with it really because I know what it is. But yeah, get it checked out if you're not sure. Okay, just let me see if there's anything else. No, I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been useful for you, this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.